Do you know where you are? Do you know where you are?
This is Appetite for Distortion.
And welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode 87. It is Brando, and I can't believe this episode is happening. You know, being in radio for over 15 years, this is something that would never happen anywhere else on any terrestrial radio station. I don't think in any other podcast. And you're going to see as we go along this journey that is episode 87. Because online first, because we got two big guests. One is going to play co-host. That would be Miss Roberta Freeman, who was a guest of ours, and we know your story, and I said it to you on and off the air, one of my favorite interviews ever. And the fact that you're back on as co-host is I don't know, that's so cool to me. That's kind of someone I grew up listening to. Now I'm playing radio with. It's cool. So welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back, and thank you for asking me to co-host.
No, of course. I really just enjoyed our conversation last night. I mean, with 87 episodes, I forget what number is what. And you do enough projects. I certainly don't expect you to remember what episode of a podcast you were on. But you've been so. I mean, one of the reasons I wanted you on today, just to catch up, because I love following you on Twitter and Facebook, and you're so active. And you're talking like, you know, whether it's stuff that you're going out doing with Britt Floyd or, you know, some political conversation, but you're a lot of times like, what is it, your sister's an author? Because you're a lot of times you're...
My sister, yeah, she illustrates children's books, and she just came out with her own children's book called Natalie's Hair Was Wild, and her name is Laura Freeman, and her books are available on Amazon. She did Hidden Figures, and she's amazing, so you should check her out.
That's cool. I'm all about that, supporting the self. Is it self-published, or she had to go through...
No, she has agents and a publisher.
Oh, so that's even better.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Even better. All right. So, I mean, I just enjoy following you, but you're going to help me interview. I don't know how to say his last name. I guess call him Teddy Zig Zag. But Teddy, right?
Andreadis.
Andreadis.
Andreadis. He's amazing.
He is amazing. And it's funny. I was going to say my best friend growing up, who I went to go see GunsNRoses with, the first run, not in this lifetime, is Hagialis, and he's one of my best friends. It took me so long to pronounce the Greek name, but I don't know. I'll just call him Ziggs. I'll see if I can call him Ziggs and see if I can get away with it.
I think he'll go as Teddy Zig Zag, whatever you want to call him. Just don't call him late for dinner, you know?
Oh, I know. That's right. That's how Roberta and I bonded. We're both from New York, and she came from a Jewish family, which I had no idea.
The tribe, yes.
Yes, you're a part of the tribe. Absolutely. I love it. So before Teddy calls up in just a few minutes, I want to get to more news about Roberta. So I guess it just makes sense to make this segment about you today. News. It's always fun when we talk about where, you know, whatever happened to, you know, with somebody you grew up with. And the fact that, you know, you're still busy regardless. But I had no idea that you came out with a brand new song with Weezer.
Yeah. I just did a recording with them. David Sitek from TV on the Radio.
Hold on, Robert. I think Teddy's calling my cell phone.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Teddy.
Hey, Teddy. I'm on the other.
Am I on the wrong line?
Yeah, you're on the wrong line. It's okay. Do you want to call 212? You got it. See, I'm going to see if I'm going to leave this in or part of it in,
right,
just
so the
to make
world knows the studio.
Part of the show, because we're gonna do a tease as Teddy is calling up. I want to play, and we're gonna find out how you got involved with Weezer, because I'm curious, you know, because I'm a fan. But this will be the hold music while I get Teddy on is going on right now. That's...
Teddy.
Hey, Roberta. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm good. How are you?
Now I'm fine. I always get these phone things mixed up because I never call the right number. I end up calling the guy's wife or something like that by mistake.
Yeah, I thought it was 4 o'clock LA time. Right?
She had the wrong time zone.
Right.
But we all managed to be here.
I get the whole week wrong. I go, aren't I supposed to call today? No, Ted, you were supposed to call 2 weeks ago. Oh.
I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, as we were just talking with Roberta and that music you came into, and we'll talk after about it. Roberta's now involved in a brand new song from Weezer. And just her resume and your resume, and officially welcome to the AFD show. Thank you for being on, Teddy Zig Zag. Your resume is ridiculous also. So I don't blame you for not knowing what time, what number, what year, what planet you're on. How do you, I don't even know where, because we got Roberta's story before. And Roberta, since you're your co-host for the day, Sean, just be yourself. Just tell
I get to ask questions, huh?
Whatever you want. If I'm going too long, this is the Brando and Roberta show today. You're Robin Quivers. Tell me to shut up. You're all of that fun stuff.
The important thing about Roberta being the co-host is that she already knows everything about me. We
no, I don't know everything. I'm a fan of yours, Teddy. So I get to be asking questions too, and yeah.
I gotta tell you, I was telling Brandon the other day that it was the first time we had seen each other in the studio with Gilby. It was actually quite fun. I kind of missed that. We were recording something for Gilby, and it was a lot of fun. It was great seeing the three of us. Wait, we did NAMM together. That's right.
Yeah. That was where the picture was taken. Okay.
NAMM. Yeah.
NAMM. That's great.
Yeah, when you were with Billy Bob, and I said hi, and we hung out for a minute, and it was great. It was great to see you.
How long do you guys go back? I mean, did it start with GunsNRoses, or did you kind of know each other before? Oh, it did? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No, yeah. You came. Roberta came from Cinderella, I believe, right?
Yeah, I was on the road with Cinderella, and Fred was friends with Slash, and that's how it all began. And then we became really good friends on the road, and we remained in touch with each other. So, yeah.
I love that. It's kind of like when you watch a sitcom and you find out that, Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston are really friends. It's like you enjoy that the band that you love, that you're actually friends outside, which has been a unique thing to balance with the world of GunsNRoses. But that's just was a minor part of Roberta's story and a minor part of Teddy's story. So to go back, I know Roberta comes from growing up with around my tribe, the Jews in New York. But Teddy, I was just telling Roberta that my best friend is Mike Hagialis, and it took so long to pronounce his last name. That's
exactly why. That's why I became Teddy Zig Zag Big Bag Angry Anus. Nobody could pronounce my last name, or they could. They pronounced
that last name. Come on.
No. What it was is because you have the two vowels that are together. It was always like is it Andreadis and Andreadis?
Yeah.
No, it's Andreadis.
Andreadis. Right on.
And they never got it right. It was Andreas for a while. I think Matt called me Teddy Andreas, and I go, hey, that's pretty cool. And I think that's what I actually put on my first record, Teddy Andreas.
How did Axel say your name?
Axel just said anything Tom Mayhew told him to say. He would say, that's Teddy Angry Anus. That's what Tom called me, and Axel heard that.
Yes.
And that's what.
I don't remember saying that. Oh my God.
Why?
Oh, yeah, that was.
Why would he call you? Do we want to know? Did you have some sort of a hemorrhoid problem? Why did he call you?
No. It's because it's Andreadis, Angry Anus.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I had a suitcase that was really, really a real big suitcase. It was a giant Toomey, and the crew guys hated it because I stuffed everything in it. We were on the road for 2 years, so this was a giant, and that's where the big bag came from. because of a big suitcase. This massive suitcase.
Teddy Big Bag.
The Zig Zag came from the rehearsal. When I first joined the band, I kind of looked like that guy on the pack. And Axel, I think, asked Tom again, who's the new guy? Who's the new guy?
Rolling tape. Okay.
Yeah. Who was the new guy? Who's the, he looks like the guy in the Zig Zag pack. That's where it came from.
Did you have nicknames growing up? Well, you grew up in Jersey, right?
No, well, hey, Dopey, that kind of nickname. No, usually it would be like, hey, Greek, get over here.
You know what?
Hey, Greek boy.
I get it
get over here.
all the time. Yeah. I get, hey, Jew.
The Greek.
My girlfriend calls me Jew. My girlfriend calls me Jew boy, so I get it.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That's terrible.
That's it out of love.
Guys, I remember my nickname was Queen Bitch.
We all had terrible nicknames.
So, Roberta, you got to admit, though, there were times where that little Queen Bitch came out.
Yeah, well.
Oh, yeah. But it was all done in love, though. It's all done in love. I'm not sitting back here. I'm not sitting behind these fucking drums.
I love it. I love hearing the back and forth, and that's what I wanted in this conversation, just to hear two friends talking. And for me and the listener, I know it's going to be pretty surreal because both by yourselves, are incredible. So where should your story start, Teddy? Because, I always was told that a harmonica was the easiest instrument to play, but the hardest to master. Is that true? And where did that start for you?
Harmonica, all you do is blow in and out.
Right.
It's very simple to do, but to actually get a note, to actually be able to prioritize, it's only 10 holes on a harmonica, on a regular, blues style harmonica. I mean, there's chromatics and stuff like that, and that's when you get into orchestra harmonicas, that's a whole other world, man. I can't even play chromatic. And when you see a guy like Toots Thielman play a chromatic, or Stevie Wonder, it's the most beautiful thing ever. Oh man!
You play harmonica like nobody's business, and you blow me away. I mean, not only does Teddy play the shit out of a harmonica. Can I say that?
Yes.
Can I curse?
Yes.
He's an amazing piano player, and he's an amazing singer. So,
thank you.
Triple threat,
We had fun. I think I was hired because I was a good utility guy. Originally, that's why when Slash, it was actually Slash, Duff, and Matt that kind of blew the charge for me to be in the band. And that's when the band went from no keyboard players to 2 keyboard players. Axel had hired Dizzy, and then those 3 guys said, "Well, we want Ted because Ted can play the harmonica part on Bad Obsession. He does keys. He can sing.
Yeah.
So they went from having no keyboard players to 2. And as much as
find you? How did they find you?
Through McBob.
Oh,
McBob, because
really?
the McBob worked for Carole King when I was playing keyboards with Carole King, and then he said, there's this new band. They've kind of been around for a little bit, but they're putting some keyboards on this new record, and would you be interested in kind of helping out? I said, yeah, sure. And then I heard it. And the first thing I heard ever was we used to go over to Mike's house and kind of party a little bit, and I heard Live and Let Die for the first time, and I went, whoa, holy smokes, who is this? And I didn't really know anything about Guns N' Roses except on Music Connection magazine. They would be on that magazine. I'm going, another glammy type band, but boy, was I wrong.
What scene were you into at the time? What was your circle, if they weren't if you weren't aware of them?
I was playing a lot of blues with a guy named B.B. Chung King, who was the Asian Stevie Ray Vaughan, and unfortunately he passed away. And that's when Slash and Duff both came to see us playing. We were playing for Rich Bartles, the Jet Set. I don't know if you remember that, Roberta. He used to have it at Gazzari's, and we were the first blues band to play on Sunset Strip. at the Gazaris. Where is what is it now? Like what's that club called now? It's like next to the Rainbow, across the street there from the Rainbow. That club.
Across the street from the Rainbow.
Yeah, going in the same direction, going west. Is it one?
Not Roxy or oh wait.
No, the other way.
E Club.
Is it E Club?
It used to be
the big dance club.
Something else.
I don't know. I wish I knew.
About yeah.
But you were the first blues club to play the Strip.
The first blues band to play Sunset Strip. Right. Yeah, in the late '80s when rock was, when the Motley Crues and Rats and all that. Yeah, we were like a heavy blues band led by this Asian guy.
Oh my God, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look him up, man. That cat's he was one of a kind, man. And I was actually with him when he passed away.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it was just me and him. Yeah, heavy. I was listening to we were just listening to a B3 track that I had just laid down. I was doing it for somebody via, the internet, and I went there to pick up the MP3, and he just laid back in the chair, and I went, "Come on, let's go! I got to get out of here." And I thought he fell asleep on me, and I realized, oh my God, yeah, it was heavy.
Did you have a heart attack or something?
Huh?
And what? Yeah, a heart attack or something?
I had a stroke of some sort.
An aneurysm, maybe.
Wow.
I don't know. All I know is I was screaming at the paramedics. Anyway,
Oh my God!
Unbelievable story. Yeah, and that was a couple of years ago. I knew him since we were like 15 or 16. So it was
that's
terrible.
Wow.
But we were playing at the Roxy for Rich Bartles, and then Slash and Mayhew brought in Slash and Duff, and I remember because they were standing behind the amps, and that's the first time I met Renee, his first wife. He was with Renee. He hadn't married her yet.
I remember Renee.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and they came to see me play to see if I would work, and Slash was always into the blues and stuff, so he says, "Yeah, this guy's cool, man. Let's try it," and because there was never auditions. Nobody really auditioned for Guns. You were down and that was it.
Yeah. Wow.
And
so how long have you been in LA?
Wow.
About doing
I want to say the 80s maybe.
Mm.
Yeah, a long time. I've been here longer than I've been in New Jersey. That's for sure.
Mm.
Wow.
Do you still carry around your Jersey card? Yeah, we're East Coasters. So do you carry around your East Coast card? Because even when I've gone to other states, I can't help but be the Long Island Jew that I am, regardless where I go.
Yeah, well, there's a certain dialect, in certain parts of New Jersey and New York, obviously, in Long Island. So, I mean, I don't talk like hey, what are you fucking looking at? I'm not one of those guys. But, there's certain things that I say, and people go, "You're from the East Coast, aren't you?" Like, "Yeah, how could you tell?" I said, "Well, it's the way you said that word."
Mm.
Right.
So how did you get into the blues then in Jersey? What was the scene like there growing up as a kid?
Well, no, I wasn't into the blues. I was R&B back in Jersey. Yeah, I had a band called Hosanna. And we used to have this cat that sang, who wore his name was Jerome James, and he wore a turban with a diamond in it with a suit. Oh my God, it was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. But we had a regional hit, and you can look it up on YouTube, and it's there. It was called Hip It. Hip It by Hosanna. Hip It by Hosanna.
Okay, you gotta look it up.
Great disco dance tune. Everybody is out there dancing. Listen to the music and start your dancing.
Is this it?
Yeah, it is.
This is it?
Check it. Roberta, you'd dig this. Check this out.
Okay.
And I have your permission to play this, copyright?
Oh, absolutely. This is probably the only time it's getting played.
I feel like I gotta watch Shaft.
The intro, unfortunately, too long.
I just want to hear some vocals. boat.
Here comes the vocal.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's...
The
This is-
music.
Right?
Is this on Spotify? I'm going to add it. I like it.
Oh man, that was, check this out. That was 3 brothers and 3 Greeks.
Wow.
Is that
That
great?
sounds like
Yeah.
sounds like a diner.
It was me, my brother was playing bass, and the other Greek guy was playing guitar.
That's hysterical. Wow.
Yeah, it became a regional hit. And on the flip side of that is the instrumental, which you pretty much.
That's awesome, then. So, like, how did you
Yeah.
get from there to where you are now? I mean, it's
We were in high school. We were like 15, 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you at that time? Did you realize this is what I want to do with my life, or you like this is just fun?
Well, I was already doing it, so
Yeah.
I didn't really. I had gone to high school and I'd gone to college, but I only went to junior college. And I said after 2 years of college, I went, screw this, and I just started playing. And then I met a girl. I was working at an air conditioning factory. I was working for Fetter's Air Conditioning, and I met this girl in the office. And just young guy, and I was like head over heels, and she was moving to California, and she goes, you should come out and visit me sometimes. So I packed up my van and my B3, and I just left home and moved out and moved to California, moved to Venice. The first place I moved to was Newport Beach, and I thought that all of California was like that. Right? I went, wow, this is unbelievable. Was I wrong? So then I found my ex-girlfriend because she had already started dating other guys. So, well, now what am I going to do? Yeah, I was heartbroken, but life goes on.
Evil.
But it was the best thing, right? Because for us, because LA got you.
I joined a band.
How did you go from
I joined a band that played the Red Onion chain. That was a Mexican restaurant chain that had live bands at the time. And I remembered my auditioning song. The song I auditioned was called Neil Sedaka's "Breaking Up Is Hard to Do."
You had a lot of love in your heart.
Yeah.
So,
but nobody can do that song like Teddy Zig Zag. I'll tell you, I bet it's not anything like Neil Sedaka.
Neil Sedaka, yeah.
So
that was pretty beautiful.
I'm wondering though. I'm assuming that auditioning for Neil with the Neil Sedaka song for Mexican restaurants wasn't the catalyst for your career. I mean, it was part of it. So, what do you think when you moved to LA? When you're like, oh wow, like I made it, because you've worked with. Not even just like A-list names, forever A-list names in your career. Like Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley. Again, not even counting the band that we're all here for. Like, how did you? Like, what was the turning point for you to?
I think the turning point was actually a friend of mine got to be an engineer for Carole King, and I was like, oh my God, do you think I could meet her? Do you think I could meet her? And blah 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 blah. And he goes, now Ted, you just calm down, don't be crazy. Meet her.
Sound like me.
Because I was, I was a piano songwriter, songster. So I was like, the stuff that she did I just loved. And when I met her, I went, oh my God, she's just like my next door neighbor. There was no.
Nice Jewish girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Roberta.
Wow. But at the time, I just thought of her as Carole King. You don't think when you meet somebody that's that nice and that kind of like, no attitude, no nothing and stuff like that, it automatically becomes like, wow, she's so nice. Hey, Carole, you want to go out to dinner? You want to get a sandwich? That kind of thing. But you got to remember, you take a person like that out in public, and there's no privacy. There's nothing. When we recorded I recorded 3 records with her. She used Eric Clapton on one of the tracks, and Eric wouldn't take any money. He wouldn't take it. He goes, no. He bought her a bottle of wine, and that's who Carole King was, man. And she's a legend, and people just revered her and just. no, I'm not going to take any money from you, Carol. I'm honored that you let me play on your record.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I'll never forget that day, man. We all waited in the studio till he showed up because we wanted to see what his gear was going to be, and he showed up with nothing. And he had a handler with him, and he goes, "Hey, go down to Sam Ash on whatever street it was," and he goes, "Just get me a good Strat off the wall and a Fender Twin." That was
Wow.
That was it, man. The minute they plugged it in, he started playing. You're going, "There's the sound." I don't know what he did, but there's the sound. Yeah.
I guess
We were like blown away.
that helps with packing and traveling. Not having to bring your equipment with you because you can afford to buy a new one when you're there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, you walk into Sam Ash, you go, Eric Clapton needs an amp. You go, take whatever you want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What aisle do you want? Does he want this store? Have you gone to see her? I believe there's a Carole King play right here in Broadway, right?
Oh, yeah. She was just, we were just talking with my wife. My wife is good friends with Sherry Goffin, and we still hang with, the sisters, the daughters, Sherry and Louise. We still see Carol, on the holidays and stuff. But she was just at Henson.
Take me with you next time. I want to meet her too.
She was at A&M Records recording with Louise this week, and I went, "That fucking bitch didn't call me." Didn't call me. How dare her not call me? So anyway.
That was funny.
I got to tell you, man. One of the greatest pieces of performances is the Kennedy Honors when they were honoring Carol and Aretha Franklin did Natural Woman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Carol had never seen her perform it because Aretha doesn't do that kind of stuff, right? She'll do it in her shows, but she had never seen Aretha Franklin actually perform the song. And the look on her face, if you've ever seen it, it was real.
In her eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because she's going, oh my God, she's going to actually play it.
Yeah.
So for Carol, that was she became that little 15-year-old again. And Carol was very, she wrote that. Her, the lyrics for that were written by a man, were written by her partner, Jerry Goffin. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't know that. Isn't that wild? He wrote the lyrics to A Natural Woman.
That's crazy.
As long as it's in your heart, it doesn't matter, right? Speak from your heart.
Well, you had to separate yourself and try to, think of what it would be like, I guess.
Well, was he transitional at the time, or was it?
No, he was
that was a joke.
He was a chemist at the time.
He just finished washing, waiting to exhale or something like that.
He was a chemist at the time. He was dabbling in that. So, yeah.
All right.
But, so anyway, it came from that. So, that's how the Guns thing came about because of the crew guys, really, of Mike Mayhew. And I always say that in any interview that Mike Mayhew was really the guy that, started it all for me, who, and that's how most people get their big breaks. It's a word of mouth that you try this guy out or I've done a couple auditions and I usually never get them because I just I'm goofy and I don't know what to do and I'm nervous. It's better for me to just get hired and let me do my job.
That's what I do.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I won't let you down, You'll be very happy with the result.
If you were in, R&B bands and you're working with Carole King, was this the first rock band was Guns N' Roses for you, or did you have any sort of experience beforehand?
Well, no, I was big fans of bands like Deep Purple and I love the Young Rascals, but they're more R&B. But when I heard John Lord play, I went, "Whoa, okay, what is this?" I'd never heard a B3 played through a Marshall amp before. So, and so I got a chance to actually meet John Lord and actually watch them play, and it's like, oh man. But I'm a big fan of all styles of music. I love Tom Waits, piano. I love watching great piano players, Van Cliburn and shit like that. Stuff that I can't do. I watch a guy like Herbie Hancock, or who else is Oscar Peterson. Jesus. I saw him once at that Royce Hall at UCLA, and I sat there and I thought to myself, my God, if I start practicing really hard right now, I'll never be that good. He's so amazing. His left hand was faster than his right hand. It's like, how do you even do that? So, So there's guys that I really just look up to that are just so amazing, you know.
So you just felt like ready to be in a. It didn't matter that. I mean, you liked all. It wasn't intimidating for you to join a rock band. You were just like, I'm just going to do my job, whatever it is. It wasn't like the genre didn't throw you off.
You know, you kind of when I joined Guns, it's like I didn't know much about the music, and at the time they didn't really have a lot of keyboards in the song. So
Right.
Roberta will tell you, I didn't really play on all the songs, and that was a real sore spot. I got to say, it was a real personal, not a sore spot, but it was a real eye opener for those guys because when they asked what I charged, I said, well, this is what Carol paid me, and the first thing out of Slash's mouth is, well, you're not going to be playing on all the songs. What? I said, dude, you're not paying me for that. You're paying me for the time I leave my front door and I come back home.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, you know, they were young. They just didn't. They weren't aware.
They thought it was like a per diem or something, yeah. or just per.
Well, you get per diem anyway, but because I think I only played on, I would say maybe 8 of the songs, you know, in the set. 8 or 9 of the songs. I mean, I did some sound effects and stuff, like November Rain and stuff like that, and played piano. But yeah, Dizzy was the main piano player, and I played all the other secondary keyboard parts. But then those guys all had me play on their solo records, so I played on everything any other solo guys did. The only records I did play on was Izzy's. I played on Gilby, Slash's, Duff's. I played on Matt's stuff too, I think.
I don't know if you count Chinese Democracy as a solo project or not. I don't know if that's a loaded question.
No, that was that was more of an Axl thing. You know the weird thing of it? I've never heard that whole album.
Okay.
It's the weirdest thing. Yeah, I don't even have a copy of it. I just never got around to getting it, I guess. But I've heard cassette tapes of it.
Cassette
I've
tapes.
been so busy in my own world, you know, that I go, oh yeah, Chinese Democracy. I gotta get that at some point. You know,
it's been out 10 years.
I actually went into the studio when he was doing it. I was dating.
You were
there? I was dating a tech at the time, and he was working with Axl. Do you remember? And he was working on Chinese Democracy, and I came in there and I saw Dizzy, and I heard a snippet of it, and that was the last I heard of it. I the same way. I didn't pick up a copy and listen to it, but I did hear it when he was working on it, and he had been working on it for a long time. But yeah, I walked into the studio.
Very long. Yeah. And, there were little bootleg stuff that would creep out, and then somebody would hand me a cassette tape on the road. He goes, "Here's," and that's pretty much all we heard of it. I know.
That's funny.
Yeah. It was a lot. So, but Roberta will tell you we had a good time in that tour, and it was I'd seen the world. You know, it's like you got the opportunity to see. Do you remember our first gig? I think it was Madison Square Garden. Do you remember?
That wasn't the first gig.
It wasn't?
Was it the first gig?
Well, but do you remember what happened at Madison Square Garden? It was one of the first gigs that we did. It was Madison Square Garden, and I'll never forget it because I tell the story all the time. They forgot to pick us up, and we had to take a cab. We had to take cabs to the gig, and we walked right in through the front door.
Oh my God!
With the audience.
Oh my God!
And then I went right to Opie. I went, man, this is bullshit. You guys, we're in the band, goddammit. Opie was not having it at that moment. He goes, listen, I'll tell you. Okay, we forgot you, but don't you ever. Like,
you know what? That wasn't the first time they forgot us. I remember being in Paris, and we had to buy tickets to get on the plane because they left us in Paris. It wasn't they left the girls in Paris, and it was just like, are you kidding me, man? Like,
yeah. It was
the time when
that kind of stuff. You can't. This kind of stuff you don't forget, you know. And it's because they weren't used to having an extra members. You know, it was those 5 guys at the time. Well, 6 with Dizzy, and even Dizzy was.
It wasn't that they were used to it. I think that we were a second thought. Like it didn't matter to them. Like they didn't really give it too much thought.
When you say them, do you think to the band or to the management? Because you seem to have a good relationship with the band. Or is that, again, another loaded question?
No, I don't think. No, the band would have just gone, where's Ted? Where's Roberta? Yeah, and I think it was more tour managing, that kind of stuff.
Got it.
Yeah, it was big time.
I don't even think it went up as high as Doug. I think it just went whoever the tour. I don't even remember who the tour manager was.
It was John Reese. How could you forget?
Oh yeah. Okay.
that was not a pleasant
John
sound.
Reese. I think it was both of them, because they could care less, But like but they treated you a lot better than they treated the girls. That's for sure. You got.
I know, and I hated that. I hated that. It's like they would always say to me, Ted, they're your responsibility. You take care of them. You make sure they're dressed right. And I'm like,
what?
Oh,
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
First I've heard that.
No. Yeah, no, yes, because they didn't want to deal with singers, they didn't want to deal with the background singers, but little did they realize, wow, they're a real big part of our show. It's like, no, in the beginning it was like, you keep them in line, Ted. Like, I'm not going to keep those girls in line. They're going to do what they want. What are you talking about?
That's insane. They were just trying to delegate for you to be the chaperone of the horn section?
They would, and I don't know if they'll ever hear this, but they used to make me go out front after the show was over to the meet and greets to meet like all the hierarchy, because they were said, Ted, you go out there, you go out and talk to Versace and Tyra Banks and them, because we're going to stay here for a little while. I said, dude, they don't want to talk to me. They want to see you guys. You guys get out there. Oh, man, we're too tired, blah, blah, blah. You go out there now. So I'm telling you, they don't want to talk to me. They don't care about me. All they want to know is where Slash and Aquila is. Are they coming out? Are they coming out? Yeah, they're coming out. They're coming out. Hold on.
Wow.
Go get Slash. It'd be like that. Always like it was like that the whole time. But again, it was everybody was young, everybody was drinking and partying. It's a whole different world now with Guns. They're all big boys. They all have management, and nobody drinks. It's very professional, and they were the biggest band in the world, so we could do no wrong.
Yeah.
Roberta will tell you. We would sit around and just sit around in our dressing rooms for hours just waiting for him to show up.
Yeah.
You know what this might lead into, and that's going to be part of some good fan questions, I think. And I guess, obviously, Roberta, if any of them apply to you, you can respond as well. And this will be, maybe Teddy will get a kick out of this. I don't know. Yes, it's a podcast, but I treat it like a radio show, so I have stupid sound effects. Roberta has heard them before.
Sure.
So I made this one.
Put Hip It on again.
Oh, wait, no, I did the, Weezer, wait, what do you want me to put on again? I'm sorry. Oh,
put Hip It on. Hip It on again.
Oh, I could put on Hip On again. Well, I want to play the clip Full House later on, but this one, this is just a short little a feature clip. Fan. It's stupid. If you want to hang up now, I'd understand.
I don't think that went by so quick. I wasn't even.
Oh, it was like instead of like it's a bad obsession, it's a fan obsession. And it's if you have to explain it, it's not funny. So I'm glad I did it. First one's going to come up from Michael Caine. So either of you, did you guys go out much with Slash and Duff during the tour? Did you guys hang out?
Roberta will tell you. What a pain in the ass it was to go out with those two guys.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. It was a little crazy, but I do remember on several occasions going out with them. I remember when we were in Paris after that show with Lenny Kravitz, we went out to the club, and it was like we were ushered to the VIP section and behind the special section. And it was always like a big, huge deal, But I thought it was fun when we did that. I don't think I did it that often, but we did it. We did it.
We went out. The problem was going out with those guys because they were the biggest band in the world. Wherever you went, there was always people chasing the cars, chasing your vehicle. If you went like Roberta said, if you went to a VIP section, they put you in a VIP section and they roped it off, right? So it was just you and Slash, and we'd be in this little VIP section. But then outside of the VIP section would be all these people just staring at us. Like just staring at us. And it's like, man, can we just get out of here and just walk around a little? And God forbid you ever go out to dinner. It's like in South America, we used to have decoy cars. They would have these cars with curtains on them, and we'd go out. The decoy cars would go out through the front of the hotel because the kids would camp out in the front of the hotel, and then we would go out through the back, and then sure enough, they would find out where we were eating or something like that, and they would have to pull the car right up on the sidewalk, right to the front door of the restaurant, so that there was no gap between the car and the building, so you walked right into the car. And they would run after the car. They would beat on the cars and stuff. It was very scary. I mean, I played with Carole King, for God's sakes. They didn't do that. This was my first.
I was just about to say, I'm like, you thought you had it bad with her. You thought you had it bad with Carole King. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, it was being stuck in the hotel in South America. Remember, we couldn't leave the hotel.
And we were not allowed to leave the hotel. And had guys with guns. Yeah. Guys with guns on each floor, man. Semi-automatic guns.
Did you that's for real? Like, was there ever a point when you saw a guy with a gun, like, this isn't worth it being in the biggest rock band ever? Like, if the SWAT team is escorting us out,
We saw it as protection. I mean, because nothing is going to happen with us. But after a while, you got to say to yourself, man, I got to get out of this hotel. And he goes, you can't go anywhere. You can't leave. Or and for me, because I was close friends with Slash, if he wanted to go out to a strip club or something, and it was usually me or Ronnie Stolnaker, and Ronnie would say, come with us so that we can keep an eye on him, because he would get lost. He would, I'm going to the bathroom, and one of us would inevitably have to follow him, because he would just, because he was a young kid. He wanted to hang out a little bit. And there's things that happen, when you're not careful.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
You're in these dark places.
I remember being in like Argentina and being told don't wear like baseball caps or anything that looked American, hoodies and like American attire, you'll stick out, and then they'll realize that we're with GunsNRoses, and
right.
We did, like I remember, just going outside wearing the clothes I wore, and people being able to figure out that we were with GunsNRoses because of the fact that we were Americans and we were in town and we were in a specific part of town, and they would figure it out. So it was really weird,
Especially in South America. South America, those guys are gods. They're even to this day. It's like back then when even when solo guys go down, like Gilby or Matt and stuff like that, or Duff, they pack the places, because the GunsNRoses in South America are just massive, massive,
crazy.
Yeah, it's scary. Oh, to the point of being scary when they would get up on the first song and they would jump. And you could feel the whole stadium shaking.
Yeah.
We played there's one in Bogota, Colombia, that apparently was a burial ground. So the ground was real soft. And, when they would jump in a wave because of the sound. We didn't have delay. We had one delay tower, so that they tried to keep the sound frequency steady. When we played Eastern Creek in Australia, they had two sets of delay towers, which meant the first set of delay towers were about a quarter of a mile back, and the second set was another quarter of a mile back. That's so that the audience that was a half a mile away could hear exactly what was going on stage.
Right.
Really, I mean, that kind of stuff you don't think about, but that's how big it was.
This is actually this is I guess a pertinent question then, based on what you're talking about in different countries. This is from Johan Batista, and he said, ask him about the first South American show of the 1992 tour in Venezuela. I know there was a military coup, and they were barely able to get out before the government got to them. I know they lost some equipment, and it was part of the reason they only played one show instead of the scheduled two in Colombia a few days later. That's my main question. LOL. That's so.
Yeah,
That sounds
that's
good.
absolutely true. That's absolutely true. The Columbia show we did November rain, and it rained on us. The ceiling it was just a cloth covering on the grating, and they have video of it, so it's really amazing to see. But the rains were so torrential that it destroyed everything. So they opted not to play the second show. I don't know what happened. I mean, I've heard stories, but something happened, and we went to the airport, and they said that they were holding up a coup until we got out of the country because they didn't want the Americans in the country when it happened.
All just
that's
crazy. I remember when we first got there that we were greeted with like these teenagers carrying Uzis,
Oh my God.
at the airport.
Yeah.
And I remember it was really like, oh my God, this is where we're going in, It was kind of they so wanted to catch us bringing in drugs and stuff that they would unload the truck right on the tarmac, and then there were times where we'd have to actually have to take apart our stereos. I didn't have one, but guys like Matt and Slash and Duff had these Anvil cases that had stereos built into them, and they would be rolled into their rooms. And I remember Matt having to take his apart. They literally unscrewed the speakers to look for drugs. Yeah, they were looking. They looked into like our lipstick cases and the heels of our shoes. I mean, they were like totally interrogating.
They were just looking to want to really bring the band down because they just thought the band was not good and not a good representation of rock and roll and just were troublemakers and they'll bring drugs in, and we were just nobody even dared.
Yeah, we weren't that stupid.
I can't imagine the stress that goes along with that. And again, the fans seem to really understand what was going on during those days. This is from Mackin2 on Twitter. How fun are riots? Oh
my God.
Yeah. So we're talking about all the craziness. Like, I'm going to read how he phrases it. What is it like when your hours? Oh, well, that's another part of it. Does the tension or nerves build up for you, like when that's happening during the riots? Or
Roberta and I were at the Montreal riot. We weren't at the St. Louis riot.
Okay.
But we joined, and then when we went up to Montreal and did the thing with Metallica, where James Hetfield walked into the flash pot, and burned his face, and it was, the story is, it's like, it's not even a story. It's true. But Axl was kind of losing his voice at the time because he couldn't hear himself correctly. So he went out there to try to save the day. And again, he couldn't hear himself. So he opted to leave. And that's there and started, them lifting the seats up and stuff. And I'll never forget, we were down in the dressing rooms. I was sitting there with Slash just in an empty room. And you could hear them just going crazy upstairs. And
I was so scared.
Yeah, it was a really scary sound. And in walks Axl into this room that me and Slash we just found. And we're sitting there. And I said, should I, no, stay. And actually, you could see he was visibly shaken and saying that, they're going to blame this on me now. And, all I wanted to do was I couldn't hear myself. He goes, I can't fucking hear myself. He kept saying, they're going to blame me for this. And I said, well, and that's when I got up and left because,
But Teddy, you don't remember what happened. We ended up, the girls, the horn section and the girls ended up, we got left behind, and we had to wait. At the
riot, you were left behind?
Yeah.
No, they had to wait until everybody.
The limos got you and Slash and Axl and Duff and Matt out and Dizzy out, and the girls were left behind, and we had to wait it out because we didn't have limos. Yeah, we got left behind, and I thought that they were going to, it just sounded like they were going to beat the doors down and get backstage and kill us. And I've never been so afraid in my life. Wow. And we were. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Which is a bad, a thing on a tour. They should have had enough. They should have had enough limousines on call. They could have been able to call it to get these people out of here. But maybe they felt that it was safer to be just locked downstairs or something. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't know that.
I didn't think so. I was like, those doors didn't seem to be safe. I mean, when you were hearing the banging and the stuff that was going on in the stadium, it was like it really felt like Armageddon. It was so scary, and scary. I remember just sitting backstage going, "What the hell are we going to do?" And we thought they were coming for us, and then we found out that Opie and all those guys were gone, and there was no way that we were going to go through the crowd, So we had to wait it out. We were back there for hours.
How do you continue that? Because I feel, you're part of this amazing band and kind of like a dream job to many, but you're saying that you're scared for your life, and Teddy, you seem frustrated.
The first time.
I know. I mean, the first time it seems frustrated, with whether Axl didn't want that to happen, of course, but Teddy, you seemed frustrated. You can correct me if I'm reading into it wrong. What makes you continue? Like, is it worth it? Because at that time, there was also a lot of latenesses on stage.
They were the biggest band in the world, so you knew you were part of something. So you just had to constantly watch your back. When you're playing and there was something going on the left side of the stage, you just kind of kept your eye on it, but you kept performing, and just hopefully that we had enough security. I mean, we had enough security but sometimes things got out of. The things that got out of hand were not so much at the gig; it was when you were at the hotel. That's when because they knew where you were staying, and you didn't have all that protection. So the South America things were really scary because they could sneak into the hotels and get up to the floors and stuff.
Yeah. The hotels were surrounded, and you would hear them singing like at all hours and
all hours of the night.
Ole, ole, all that stuff. And, they wouldn't let us.
I have a newspaper article. She's on the front cover from an Argentinian magazine newspaper, and I don't know if you remember her, but she was a rabid fan of Guns, right? And she would sit out there and sing and sing and sing. Well, her father told her that he wasn't going to allow her to go to the show because he just thought it was going to be too much trouble and these guys are going to be too crazy, and that I don't want my daughter going in there. You can go to the hotel and you can chant all you want, but you're not going to go to the show. She was so overwhelmed by that and not to be able to go that she killed herself. She committed suicide. And they put her on the front page of the paper, and I still have the article with her picture. I mean, how crazy is that you're so into a band, guys that write songs, basically guys that write rock and roll songs,
right?
That you're not going to be able to see them, that I'm going to kill myself. Like, what?
That, I mean, of course, that's it's something that I forget what our discussion was, Roberta, in your interview, but that's something we do talk about here with mental health and depression, and it's affected my life. But so I'm just curious, what made you keep that article then? That you said you still have that newspaper?
I just have a box of Guns N' Roses stuff from back then. Articles like that. I've got belt buckles, that collected. All kinds
I guess that stuff, trinkets and stuff makes sense, but that is something, I guess maybe somebody want to not forget, but
not forget. No, you look at that and you go, wow, they were a big band. They were really big. I mean, and that's Roberta, almost 30 years now, 25 years ago?
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
I mean, but it's amazing when you think about that. They've been in that spotlight that long. They're considered classic rock, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, they are.
No, they are in bands, because I'm younger than barely younger than both of you, and in bands like Green Day and Nirvana, things I grew up with are already classic rock. And this is a nice little transition because sometimes classic becomes rebooted. That's my Full House shoehorn into this.
Oh my God.
So you were, I know, this Fuller House on Netflix. You're not involved in the reboot.
No, not a Fuller House. Fuller House was the next season.
Well, that's what I mean. Fuller. My sentence was out of order. So that was the reboot is then. So I was going to ask you. I was going to make a parallel comparison to Not in This Lifetime to Fuller House. If you wanted to be involved with that, like you were with Guns N' Roses and Full House. The original.
I know Jeff Franklin, the creator, and he was saying that there's a possibility that we may want to bring Mongo back, which was the character I played in Full House.
You don't talk in this clip, but I want to set it up, and maybe you remember the scene. It's more of a visual, but I posted it on our social media for those who want to check it out.
Guys, it's the world premiere of this tune. I don't know if the record company's going to like it, but
and you have a really awesome bright yellow Hawaiian shirt.
Couldn't have done it without you guys. It goes a little something like this.
And your sax. All right, I can't. John Stamos is a beautiful man, but I can't handle that singing voice right there.
Yeah, it's kind of douchey. I love him to death. I swear to God, he's. You know what? He's come down and played with. He's jammed with Slash and stuff like that.
You got to get him on the show, Teddy. I want to interview John Stamos. That's got to happen. But
I don't know about that.
I gotta throw whatever I can against the wall, see if it sticks. But so how did that come about? Did you want an acting job?
I knew him from the old Red Onion days when he was on General Hospital. He used to come in and sit in on drums at the Top 40 band, and we've always stayed in contact with each other. And he's, I got this band on the show called Jesse and the Rippers, and need a keyboard player. Come on down, and and then over the years I would do little spot. I still get like $4 checks for like the one line
from Jesse and the Rippers. You get residual checks from Jesse and the Rippers.
Jesse and the Rippers. Yeah, there was an episode where they thought the little girl was going on the road to stalk me or something like that. Something like that. And they were mistaken. She was actually into the young lead singer, and she was into Mongo.
Mongo. I love it.
It's really weird, man, about that. People will come up to me and say, "Hey, would you play Mongo on Full House?" My daughter just watches that show all the time, the reruns.
Sure.
And she says, "Yeah, that and Trading Space."
I'm gonna call you Mongo from now on.
Mongo. Do you know who Mongo is? Mongo is the character in Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles,
Saddles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Mongo like candy.
Great all-time movies. Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, we could be here asking you, because you, again, from Stamos to Chuck Berry. I mean, you know what? Do you have a cool Chuck Berry story? Because he's one of my favorites, and I know a huge influence on Axl and stuff. Okay.
We played with Chuck Berry in Palm Springs, and we were gonna. He was doing a show in Palm Springs, so the person that got me on the gig said, "Okay, these are the songs we're gonna do. We're not gonna rehearse." I said, "Really? We're not gonna rehearse?" He goes, "No, they're just rock and roll." So Chuck will tell us what to do when we get there. So he comes. I'm in the middle of the afternoon, and I'm at the venue there. I don't even know. It was some kind of a hotel, gig, and he comes in, and he has these two giant basement cabinets. They had like 2, 3. They had 8 10s in them, 2 of them on either side. They split. They put them on either side of the drums with a head, and that's what he played through. And it was just a wall of heinous guitar sounds. Well, he goes, "Okay, we're going to do this song." He goes, "You watch my left leg. If I lift my left leg up, that means we're going to stop. If I lift my right leg up, that means we're going to take it around one more time." So all night long, I'm watching this guy doing this, one leg up, the other leg's up, and and that's how we rehearsed. That we didn't even rehearse the set. He said, "You just watch me, and I'll conduct the whole thing." All this. He wouldn't, and then at the end, he wouldn't take any pictures with us. Wouldn't take any pictures with us.
That's something I would do. Any reason why? Was he just super? Was he
no,
private?
No, he said, "I don't take pictures."
All right, fair enough.
No, he was Chuck Berry, but I got to tell you, when I did it with Bo Diddley was just total opposite. He wanted to rehearse. Right. Unfortunately, there's only so much of gonk, donk, donk, gonk, gonk, donk, 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 gonk, gonk. It's like every song is like that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
right.
Please stab me, But it was a beautiful man, But that's so funny. Both of those guys, really crappy sounding guitars. And I don't get it. Chuck had that 335 through those giant amps, but it was always out of tune. Is it, he did tune his guitar. We had to tune it for him.
Really?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't tune it.
But his own damn guitar would sound better.
But Bo Diddley had that square guitar, that little cigar box guitar, and it just didn't sound like, it just didn't sound good. And I was like, man, come on, man, give yourself a nice, I was always like,
damn it.
Man, damn it. And then that's where I'd get in trouble for opening my mouth. They go, Ted, just shut up. Just shut up. Well, God's name's Bo Diddley. Why does he have a good guitar? That's why he does it, because he's Bo Diddley. I play with Alice Cooper. My wife always says this to me, Ted, you got to sometimes just keep your mouth shut and just do the job. I used to yell at the crew guys because they couldn't. Some of the gigs we did was too small to roll the guillotine out, so they chop Alice's head off. And I would always yell, "Now you got to get that guillotine right out in the front of the people's faces because that's what they're paying to see." He goes, Ted, there's no room on stage. You want to play in the bathroom? You go ahead. There's no room for the guillotine. And Alice would stick his head in and goes, it sounds like the old days. So, yeah, it's like, I'm always trying to fix something that's not broken, that kind of thing.
I get that. I get that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, all these names, Alice Cooper, obviously Axl, Bo Diddley. And is it you're with Billy Bob Thornton? I know you have been in the past, but the Boxmasters are still going on now?
Yeah, the Boxmasters. I'm actually a partner with the Boxmasters. It's me, Billy, and J.D. Andrew, and I've been with him since 2005 or 2004. So I've been with him a long time.
That's so cool.
I like his music. A lot of people don't even know he plays music, but we've got 9 or 10 albums out. Yeah, you should look up the Boxmasters. There's records all over the place.
He's a rock and roller.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why I always got that vibe whenever I watch his films. It's that rock and roll, especially in Fargo, this rock and roll attitude. What is he like in real person? What was your first encounter to be in a band with Billy Bob? I mean, are you ever kind of like, really? Because again, at this point, Carole King, all these other names. Are you ever...
At this point, I sleep next to him on a bus. I've seen him in his underwear, so
But at the time, I mean,
well, at the time, it was like, wow, he was. I think the Sling Blade had already been out. I think I don't know what the movies were out at that point. So, but again, it's like when you work with people like Carole King and Axl, it's like. Everybody kind of is like it doesn't. Celebrity doesn't affect me anymore.
Okay,
right.
It's like it's just they're just they shouldn't pay the bills just like people.
I do. Right. When you talk to people, you could talk to the biggest star in the world, but like they eat the same way, they put the pants on the same way, they fall asleep the same way.
Sure.
So it's like people are people. They have more celebrity. Right. Than the average. They're lonely. They're lonely just like everyone else. When they don't like being they don't like being alone. They want people around them. But I mean, sometimes I forget, and I show too much of that artist. That I to the lay crowd. So that's where I kind of blow it sometimes. Sometimes he can be a little bit nervous about singing. So. I'll tell my friends, oh, he's real nervous. Well, I don't, you don't need to tell somebody that. Right. Well, that's why Axl would wait to go on stage because he was stage fright, didn't he?
Right.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, there were certain gigs he didn't want to do because it reminded of either of his hometown or, something that had to do with his life.
Really?
My problem with that was like, well, why don't you say it before we get here? Why don't you cancel the gig before we get, before we set all this shit up?
Before we set the stage up, man.
That's
remember, Roberta. Remember if was it in London where we did that soccer stadium, and then he had a fight with Stephanie or something, and canceled the gig, and they called us to come down and eat the food that was all set up for us. Remember they had. We eventually did the gig, but something happened and the gig got canceled. They had actually upturned the soil with bulldozers to put the stage in.
Oh my God!
And it was that stadium. It was that stadium in Manchester that bordered along the city, a bunch of homes. Mm-hmm. So we had to be out by a certain time because they closed the gates and we wouldn't be able to get out. There was a lot of stuff like that in Europe.
Yeah,
where
it was
told that we had to get off stage at a certain time because the transit system will stop and all these thousands of kids won't be able to get home.
Kids will be stuck, right? Yeah. And that's something that he didn't take into consideration when he went on late, that a lot of the parents who were taking the kids, were waiting for their kids to get out of the concert, that, the public transit, stops at certain hours. So, like, if Axl was 3 hours late getting on stage, these kids had a hard time getting home. And, he didn't take that into consideration because nobody told him. So,
exactly. Everybody, they were afraid to tell him for fear that he'd go, you know what, I'll go down when I'm ready. Well, it wasn't always the case. If you just told him and be upfront with him,
Seems like a lot of miscommunication that he just wasn't informed. Not like he wanted to leave, certain people behind during a riot or any of these things. He just didn't know. There's too many handlers.
I guarantee you he didn't know about that. If he would have known about that, people would have been fired for that. Yeah. Now he always looked after the girls. He always enjoyed having the girls around, and I know that he would have done anything. Yeah. He was really good with the girls. He always liked coming up there and dancing with them.
He was always very respectful of us. I don't even remember him ever cussing in front of me. Like, in front of the audience was one thing, but like when he spoke with me, he was always so utterly respectful and sweet.
Yeah. I remember one time I wore a red jacket. I'll never forget this. And Robert John, the photographer, was saying, "You gonna wear that tonight?" I'm going, "Yeah." Well, what's wrong? What's wrong with my red jacket? He goes, "Okay." Well, we're getting ready to go on stage, and Axl, walks by me in a red jacket and red hot pants. And,
oh no!
That outfit that he used to wear, with the little running shorts.
Sure.
And he during was it Bad Obsession, when I'm playing the harmonica, he comes up and he dances next to me while I'm playing harmonica, and he whispers it to me. He goes, "Nice jacket."
You must have looked like a wrestling tag team or something.
Yeah, we're both in red. I go, "Robert, please tell me you got a picture of that. You got a picture of that somewhere." He goes, "I think I do somewhere." I'd love to see it. Me and him both in red jackets. We're tough guys. We're real tough guys.
Right.
I'm just sitting in awe. This is just so amazing. I mean, Teddy in himself, it's so awesome just to meet you and to talk to you, but to hear you and Roberta go back and forth, because you can hear the love and just friends that go back for years, talking about the good and the bad times, and you're both still successful in 2018 in doing it. So, I could be talking to
both
of you for hours, but I'm not going to do that to either of you.
Thank you.
So,
what? I always say we were blessed that we were been able to been a part of that, because that's musical history. What we were a part of, and it was. We were all young, and we didn't. We just assumed that this is the way it was, and that the things were going to be all right at the end, and everything worked out. But there was some good and bad, and you just kind of forget about the bad, and try to remember just the good. But it's great talking to Roberta, because she gets me to remembering stuff that I completely forgot. So,
right.
Yeah.
Sure. Then maybe this could be a last question, and maybe to both of you. Do you either, maybe together, I don't know if it's a joint memory that really sticks out from those Use Your Illusion shows, like a positive, hey, this is a really funny story that happened?
Well, one does to me, but I don't know if I can say it on the air.
Oh, that's up to you. Your laugh is enough.
I remember us together funny. Roberta would have to jog my memory, but I'm trying to think of one of the fun shows that we did was when we had whenever we had stars sitting, like Brian May or Lenny Kravitz and Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. Those are always fun. Because they were just,
the Freddie Mercury tribute was pretty amazing.
Yeah, the Freddie Mercury.
Just
it's Spine. I remember the funny thing was Spinal Tap came to the rehearsal in character. In character.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came in character at the rehearsal, and I'll never forget. I went over to look at. I don't even know what Michael Guest's guitar, his name was.
Is it Michael McKean or Christopher Guest? You mean?
No. Christopher Guest was the blonde one, right?
Nigel.
No, Michael McKean was the blonde.
Yes.
Yeah. He had a guitar and it had 8 pickups on it. It had 8 pickups. It had an 8, and instead of whammy bar, it had a stick shift. It had a big giant stick shift on it. And I went, that's cool. And then when they finally did the show, they came out as the Beefeaters. You know, the Beefeater guy on the whiskey bottle.
Yeah.
They were just like that. Yeah.
They got to make a sequel of that.
Was a trip.
They got to make a sequel of that movie in the digital age. Spinal Tap, like facing downloading and SoundCloud rappers. I would love to see that.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of outtakes that could be made into a blooper reel that would be so great.
I think that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I can watch that movie a million times. Spinal Tap. It's hysterical, and it's so true.
Yeah.
So much of it is true. You don't realize.
Yeah.
I love it. So TeddyZigZag.com. I can't thank you enough for your time. What should we be looking out for? Because I know we just talked about you're still with the Boxmasters. What's currently going on with you?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go to Europe in November. I'm going to start playing with Walter Trout, the blues guy. We're going to do some headlining dates with Johnny Lang.
Oh, cool.
We're going to go to Costa Rica. Yeah. Walter. We're going to do some stuff with Buddy Guy. And then Walter's really big in Europe. He's got like 27 albums out, something like that. And he's putting a kind of a new band, kind of a rock and blues band together. So he asked me to do it. And so, the good thing is, he said, whenever you got to play with Billy, just let me know and I'll get a sub. So he's going to let me do both. So I'm going to do all of them, November in Europe. I'm going to go to Denmark in the winter.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, that's where I want to be in the beginning of November in Denmark.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow, Ted, you've really been around the world and then some, and you're still doing it. I mean, is there anything that you haven't? Is there anything you haven't done, or do you have a wish list of somebody you want to work with? Because again, you've worked with A-listers the whole time.
No, I'm happy. I'm pretty content. I mean, I always tell people that I'm lucky that I've been able to still make an honest living playing music. A comfortable living. Like Roberta, same thing. She does all these great other acts too. And it's like and we finally meet in a studio or something, but we're still making music. Making money making music. So.
I think that's just awesome. And again, I can speak as a 35-year-old Guns N' Roses fan who came into fandom during the Use Your Illusion era for the most part. And you and Roberta were Guns N' Roses for me. So it's just so cool just to see everything that what you're doing now. And I mean, I still listen to the albums to this day. Use Your Illusion 1 was my first tattoo. I mean, I'm obviously making silly sound bites from songs that you were involved in, but the fact that you're still doing it today, and it's not like, and not to take a shot at people who do maybe casinos or a smaller circuit, whatever makes you happy, great. But you're still on the top of your game. I just think is phenomenal. And if you're ever in New York City, you want to come by the iHeart Studios, you're always welcome. And I'll just throw it out there to the universe again. If John Stamos ever says to you, you know what, I want to talk about Guns N' Roses, and you can say, I know the perfect place. So if that scenario ever happens, I would appreciate it. I think Roberta will tell you that we thought that our incarnation of the Guns band was the best. I mean, we had the singers, we had the horns, and everything was done live. I thought we had the best band. There's all these different incarnations of the Guns N' Roses now, it's fine. But ours was something special. I mean, there was a lot going on that stage, man.
And the fans knew it too. you know.
Yeah. And you know what? No matter how much of a butthead he was sometimes, Axl, when he was on, there was nobody in the world that could touch Axl Rose.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable singer, frontman, and just an amazing shape. He could do that. I mean, I couldn't do that. So when people dog him and stuff like that, I go, man, you have no idea how great that guy is. So, but with that comes some other stuff, So,
Well,
but he was the best. Roberta will tell you, man, when he would start running up and down those ramps.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it's like, man, really? Yeah, it was really amazing to watch.
Are you still?
I got tired of watching him.
Yeah. It's like, Jesus, really, dude?
Are you still friends with any of the guys? Because you've worked on obviously a lot of the different records. And I know when you talk about Axl, he's his own special person.
Axl was the one guy that never reached out to me after the tour was over. Never to say, hey, thanks for. I never talked to him again. I never saw him again. I mean, saw him at pictures and stuff. But Axl's, Duff, I see Matt. I just saw Matt 2 weeks ago or something like that. We got together. He wanted me to do the Billy Gibbons thing. I saw him then, and Slash, of course, I talk to Slash all the time. Yeah. But Dizzy, I see. As a matter of fact, Dizzy, I think I'm playing with Dizzy New Year's Eve.
Oh, okay.
Up at a winery. We got
with Hookers and Blow or something different.
No, it's called Sunset Winos.
Okay. Another cool name. Okay.
Yeah, Sunset Winos. It's Stefan Adika, Eric Singer, Eric Dover.
Oh.
Me, Dizzy. I forget who else. It's a bunch of players, and we do like one or two gigs every once in a while.
Well, I mean, I've said it before, and this goes out to both you and Roberta. I mean, yes, your version of GNR is the one I grew up with. That's the one I personally hold close to my heart. But I would love for it's like what wrestling does when they bring back some of the people and you kind of it's all under the same umbrella, the same brand, where they can have people come out. I mean, it was nice what they did for Steven. Hopefully, something will happen in the future. But I would love. If you had a guest spot or if Roberta had a guest spot, I think fans will love it, but I'm it's a lot more complicated, I'm sure, than I'm making it out to be.
My concept of what this whole reunion thing was going to be, I had in my mind that they would do like a 2.5 hour show, and the first, say, 45 minutes, the first hour would be the first 45 minutes would be the original 5. And then the second 45, a half hour, maybe an hour, would be the Use Your Illusion band. Then the end of the show would be the new band. So you got everybody.
I would see that. I mean, that would be quite a production, but I would see that.
That would have been cool, yeah. But, well,
Well, who knows? I mean, they never said anything would happen, not in this lifetime, of course. Yeah. But regardless, that's neither of you are banking on that. You're both doing your own separate thing and just kicking ass. So it's just amazing. So Teddy, thank you for your time. Roberta,
thank you, Brandon.
We'll hang up. I always want to get the Weezer update from you. Then I'll let you go. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Brandon. And I love you, Roberta. You take care, sweetie. Okay. And I'll let you know.
You too.
And I'll let you know when we're doing something with Billy. You can come down to Henson or something.
Okay.
Do some singing. Yeah.
Awesome.
We need to use your reunion. We need that.
All right, honey. You take care.
Thanks,
nice talking to you.
All right, you too. All right.
Bye, Brandon. Bye.
So that was really cool, and I got to say, as a fan, I know I'm obviously the first one to hear it because I'm recording it. I'm just sitting here, just like in awe of just hearing you guys go back and forth with stories, and this was a unique thing. And I said at the beginning of this podcast that you're not going to hear a conversation like this anywhere else, and I hope you enjoyed it. Because you're taking time out of your day.
I did. I
awesome.
love Teddy, and I love talking to you, so it's all good,
That means a lot. And before Teddy called, and my cell phone, which it happens. That's why it's so funny whenever I do this podcast, because I keep it. Yes, it's pre-recorded. I can make it all nice and neat and package it, but I like the whole thing of live radio. Just like with rock, things can go wrong, riots happen. So yeah, so his my speakerphone interrupted you telling us about how you got involved with the new Weezer record.
Right. Well, I've worked with the guys at Crush Music before. I worked on Gin Wigmore's album and just, a lot of people. So they gave me a call to work on the Weezer album to see if I was available. And I had no idea that Dave Sitek was, the producer on it, and he engineered the whole session. And I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a genius. He is in TV on the radio, and he's worked with everybody from Bowie to Beyonce, and he's amazing himself. Anyway, so I did the Weezer song "Can't Knock the Hustle." That's just got released a couple of days ago, and the Black album is coming out soon, so look out for that. And featured vocals on that, so I'm just singing all over it, and it was a lot of fun working with David, and it's kind of exciting,
It's a cool video. When I played the music while Teddy was coming on, you heard a little ping. Well, basically, Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy is playing an Uber driver, and that was part of the video, which is super funny. Did you get to meet any of the band? Because Rivers is a huge Guns N' Roses fan. I forget, it was a recent song that they did an homage to Paradise City. I remember talking about it with.
Wow.
I forget the name of the song, but it came out in the last year or so, and they dressed up like Axl and Slash.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's hysterical. Wow. Well, no, I didn't get to meet them in the studio. I was with Dave, but hopefully, eventually, I will. Who knows what is in store? But yeah, it was great fun doing that, and hopefully, our paths will meet up soon. I have a feeling the song is gonna be very successful. So
Weezer's good like that. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. Since they're my high school band, and they keep reinventing themselves, and it's pretty. I always love how Rivers he did he drop out of Harvard, or he went to Harvard, and he just wants to be a rock star, but he's a friggin' genius. He's probably richer,
right?
Yeah, I mean, well, he's probably richer being in Weezer than he ever could have being, in NASA or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. So is there anything else going on with you? Because I know you were, as we alluded to when Teddy came on, he wasn't sure what number to call. You weren't sure what time zone. So I appreciate you giving me your time. So thanks for, keeping your commitment and being a trooper and, hanging in there. But I want to get you out. But what else do you have going on other than brand new Weezer?
I did a Nick Waterhouse record that's coming out in March. So there's going to be some shows there. And I also, another album with Sugar Ray Rayford. So that's going to be out really soon. So, just a lot of albums, a lot of album releases, and I'm also working with Scott Page from Pink Floyd, and he, Scott Page. He toured with Pink Floyd. He was their sax player for a while, and he has this other band called Think Floyd, and he has a bunch of shows coming up. I think November. So he has people like John Norwood Fisher from Fishbone and Kenny Olsen from Kid Rock playing guitar, and Steve Perkins from Jane's Addiction, and so it's kind of like a big deal. And I'll be working on that project, and just stuff is happening. So just keep a lookout and keep checking my website, robertafreeman.com, and you'll find out what's going on.
Too cool. It's just to hear you and Teddy, just how insanely busy and successful you both are, and how long you've sustained it. And that's not even counting Guns N' Roses. You could take Guns N' Roses out and still have a successful career, which is just that speaks volumes. So just thank you, Roberta, for your time, and you're a wonderful co-host. You're always welcome back. If you ever, hey, you know what, this person may be good for a guest, you can also play producer, bring a guest to me. That's fine. This is just a fun little project I got to do. So and I get to have,
that's awesome.
Bear witness to use your reunion, or as maybe I'll call it. I'll see if I call this episode that. But well, thank you, Roberta. for trekking through your headache. You're awesome, and
Aw,
if you need anything,
no worries.
if you need, I mean, not like I can do much for you, but if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out.
You're so sweet.
Well, you go lie down. Thank you for being a trooper, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And we'll talk soon.
All right, you too. Nice talking to you.
Likewise. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
So that was, I don't know what else to say. That was cool as fuck. That was cool as fuck. So Axel doesn't curse around Roberta. I'm going to wait until she hangs up to curse. I mean, just to, I said it on the episode with Roberta at the time, and it still is one of my favorite interviews I've ever done because she's just so sweet, has a great personality, has done so much, of course, with her resume, and just excited to talk to Teddy. There's so much I could have spoken to him about, how I used the harmonica once. I tried to teach myself harmonica. It only lasted like a week. And this was when I was doing radio in Cape Cod. And we had a cat. And I would play the harmonica or try to for the cat. And she would love it or come running into the room when she wasn't in the room. A stupid story that I didn't want to. Probably better that I left that out and didn't talk to Teddy about it. Probably. So I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. I mean, that was just so cool. That's what this podcast is all about. It's taking, Guns N' Roses, but amplifying it. We hear two friends talking. Yeah, the two friends that used to be in Guns N' Roses together, but they hear the back and forth and the stories that they didn't know. Roberta said that what could Teddy say that she doesn't know? And he did say some things and vice versa. So just awesome. And this episode and this podcast couldn't happen, again, without all of you streaming, downloading, liking, sharing, all that fun stuff. So, and of course, thanks goes out to alternativenation.net if you found us via that website. And also, you may see, if you click on any of their articles soon, you might see my name. Yeah, I'm going to start contributing to alternativenation.net, basically about this podcast. So I'm going to start doing, because it's a lot. We're talking for, well over an hour and a half, and we talk about a lot, and there's some great stories in here. So I'm going to try to make articles and kind of expedite the process of getting our name out there. I think that's why I like getting, it's showing recognition, I guess, for the interviews that we're doing, but more people find out about us through alternativenation.net and Ultimate Guitar when they share, or Blabbermouth. And the more people find out about us, interviews like that happen. So that's why it's important to be on these sites, and I appreciate Brett for allowing me to be a part of Alt Nation and do that. Or if you found us, of course, on the iHeartRadio app. I'm very grateful to, my bosses here who allowed me to do my podcast in the studios on my free time, kind of free time, or on Spreaker, on Stitcher, on SoundCloud, on YouTube. I believe our first 30 episodes are on there now, all thanks to one Mr. Raz Q, who's helping me with some of the video graphics on YouTube. So eventually, of course, that'll be all caught up. But I know YouTube is just easier for some people. We want to be on as many platforms as we can. Again, that's how people find us. And again, that's how we get great guests. And I think we also may be on Google Play soon. Yeah, so be on the lookout for Appetite for Distortion on Google Play. But in the meantime, in between episodes, join the conversation. We have fun memes to share, fun questions to talk about on Facebook.
Thanks to the lame ass security, I'm going home.